This is an ultra-wide monitor from a company called INNOCN. The model in particular is the 49Q1R, and this is what makes it super interesting. So it's a QD OLED display, so you're gonna get great contrast ratios. It's an 1800R curve, which isn't as curvy as I'd like, but it's still decent. 144 Hz refresh rate, 99% of DCI-P3 color gamut, and 10-bit depth, along with some other features like 90-watt Type-C. Now, if you've never heard of INNOCN before, they are a Chinese-based monitor manufacturer, and a lot of what they sell is actually pretty decent value for money, and this one's really no exception. As of time of filming, you can get this for around 800 USD shipped, and for, again, a panel that is essentially two 16:9s meshed together and with OLED technology baked in, I think it's fairly competitive. We don't much make monitor reviews anymore, but I made an exception for this one because it is such an intriguing product for the money, and it's from a brand that a lot of you probably haven't much considered. I want to see how well this performs in our racing sim. It seems like the perfect application for that, and with picture-by-picture, it would also make for a decent like workstation setup, so you don't have like an awkward gap between two separate monitors that are otherwise 16:9. So a lot of use cases. We're gonna throw it into a gaming setup and see how it fares. I hope you'll stay with me.
Are you sitting on a gaming PC without an activated copy of Windows? Forget $100+ retail keys. Instead, snag an OEM Windows 10 or 11 key for a fraction of the price to unlock the full potential of the OS. Oh, and don't worry, they'll still remove those pesky activation watermarks. Click the links below to get started today and easily activate with your key under the Activation tab within Windows Settings. And be sure to use our special offer code SKGS for a sweet discount on a variety of options, including Windows 10 and 11, Pro and Home, and more.
Let's jump straight into it then. Introducing the 49Q1R, and I've just, the first impressions of a monitor this wide are always positive. For me, just seeing such a large continuous screen and with OLED technology baked in is something else. You can see that our included monitor stand lets you swivel this, it lets you pivot it, and you can also raise it and lower it. So if you wanted to stick with the stock stand, which is fairly large, it has to be for a monitor this heavy, feel free, but it does come with VESA support as well, which I would always look for something like this. This would work really well if you wall mounted it, say above your desk, just to keep that real estate free and clear. It ships with an integrated AC adapter, which is great for minimizing clutter. And rear I/O back here is plentiful. I'm just gonna read these off as I see them. So 2 USB Type A 3.0 ports, it looks like, a USB Type B port, 2 HDMI ports, a Type C port, and a display port, as well as an integrated audio jack. I think this is just for headphones, and then also an RJ45 port off to the left, which is not something you typically see in really any monitor. INNOCN also throws in a cool stand for your headphones, otherwise wasted space back here, so that is unique. Also a little clip down here for cable routing. So you can slide cables in here and other things just to keep it cleaner so you don't see them from the front. And something else to point out, there are built-in LEDs at the back of this panel on each side, so if you want some wall illumination, there is that, but you can disable it in the OSD. So if it's not your jam, not a huge deal. Yeah, of course Windows would decide to update in the middle of this. Wow, always a grand reveal when the screen powers up for the first time and you just see this vast expanse of pixels. And again, OLED, I'm gonna be saying that so much, but the fact that this is OLED for, again, around 800 bucks is, I think, its most impressive feature. It's probably the reason you're considering this one over more expensive counterparts, say from Samsung or LG. Now, the one thing that I will say, and I mentioned this earlier, I'm not a huge fan of, is the extent of the curve here. So this is 1800R, so 1000R would result in a sharper curve, and something like 3000R would be, especially at this size here, barely even noticeable. So I wish this was a tighter curve. 1000R I think would be nice because it would keep the edges of the screen closer to your face, whereas now you really have to stretch your vision over to see things legibly on the far left and the far right. Whoa, yeah, first instinct was to throw up a racing game. You know, normally you don't see the far edges here, and the way we've got the UI is, you know, the important stuff is still close in, so you have that flexibility with titles like this, but just being this close to a monitor and feeling it sort of wrap, again, it's not a tight wrap, but it's something. This is just super cool. And we're actually getting a stable 150-ish FPS, and this is in a 5140 or 5120 by 1440. So essentially two 1440p panels squished together running off of an RTX 5070. So you don't need the highest end hardware to make this work. It'll look beautiful with even a 70 series card today. That is, unless we're talking about Borderlands 4. By the way, one thing you'll for sure want to do, as is the case with most monitors, hop into your display settings within Windows, and in the advanced display tab, make sure to change your refresh rate to the highest option. So here we have, of course, the base 60, even 120 Hertz, and then 144. You're paying for 144, so you might as well use it, assuming you don't have any limitations with maybe the cable or the graphics card you're using. Wow, yep, as expected, Starfield looks incredible and actually running very well here. And I do have frame gen on, which I don't like enabling with NVIDIA cards, but they did add that support here, as well as DLSS, which is giving us a nice, healthy frame rate bump, but it still looks great, and the ultra-wide form factor really does add to the immersion. I think my guy is going somewhere he should not. But yeah, this is also very doable on this ultra-wide display. Again, wish it was a little more curved than this, but all in all, very happy with the way this feels. Now, in the case of first-person shooters, probably not preferable sticking with an ultra-wide. I am playing awfully right now, but I just wanted to see how it felt. Feels like dying, that's what it feels like. This does have built-in speakers, I didn't mention that earlier, so it is nice that you have that as an option, although they are not great quality. The overall vibe with this particular title is not fantastic. Then again, I'm used to getting completely destroyed in finals anyway, so nothing new there. I will say though, playback is still very smooth with the help of DLSS. Not that a 5070 couldn't keep up in its own right anyway. You know, there's just something about how good these players are. It is so sweaty. Come on, come on, come on. Really? There's, oh my gosh. My reflexes are still good. There can't be this many good players in this game. I'm only in my 20s plus one. Wow, 14 kills, and we still can't win. But hey, speaking of aliens, let's try the UFO test. I want to see how this fares when it comes to ghosting, as well as just overall smoothness at 144 Hertz. So what this Blurbuster's ghosting cam is attempting to show us, especially when we slow this down and we see individual UFOs moving across the screen, is how long remnants of previous frames exist. Essentially, as each new frame is drawn, older pixels from different locations have to shut off. So the light has to be cut, and depending on the screen technology and how fast it is, some of those older frames can remain on screen longer than desired, resulting in tails, and we don't really see any here. I've got to be honest with you, I'm getting super close to this. There's maybe half a pixel worth of tailing between each of these UFOs, and that is not only a testament to OLED technology, but also just how advanced we are now when it comes to screen tech in general. Even IPS and VA panels do a much better job today when it comes to ghosting than they did, say, a decade ago. Just did a quick scan for dead pixels. I'm happy to report I don't see any with the background set to white, green, red, blue, or black. There aren't any dead subpixels either, so it looks like every single color is projecting properly. And that's one of the reasons why OLED technology over the years has become a lot cheaper. It's because QC standards have always been super strict, but yields weren't great. Nobody wants to spend $1,000+ on a panel for it to have a bunch of random discolorations and black splotches. And so because the yields have increased over time as the technology has improved, it's allowed manufacturers to lower their costs. Oh, actually, I take it back. There is one dead pixel here, and I'm just gonna cycle between the colors. You can see that is remaining fully off the entire time. So it's not even like a subpixel issue, it's the entire pixel. Good thing is, it's on the far right bottom corner of the display, so it's not sticking, it's not in the center of it, and that might have been why they did things this way. Maybe the tolerances are a few pixels here and there, but if they are near the edges of the screen, it's not as huge an issue. There's really something to be said about a monitor that is almost as tall as I am. Again, 49 inches is no slouch. I wonder if this is gonna be too large for our racing sim setup. So I have two, remember my son's, which we made a video about, and my own. The one I'm currently using has an LG monitor. It's actually, I think, a 43-inch display. So it's a little taller, but it's not as wide, nowhere near as wide as this. and I'm just unsure of the ergonomics of this, again, it not being as sharp of a curve or anything. So let's pop it on the sim and see how it fares. There are a few extra things beside a monitor that I want to show you in this video. We had them sent from Motza, so most of my sim gear is from them, and they actually sent over a shifter and a different wheel, which is better suited for, again, an arcade-style game like Horizon 5. So this is Motza's RS-V2 steering wheel, and again, it's a more conventional shape. It's not like a formula wheel, so when you're driving regular cars, and again, Horizon 5, this will feel a little more natural, but it comes with really cool like leather accents. You get like a forged carbon center, as well as shift LEDs. So you're still getting the full experience, all the very tactile buttons, the magnetic shifters, but in a much more conventional, like approachable package. And this still utilizes their quick release system. So this should bolt straight into our base and it'll only take a few seconds. We're gonna try to do this like a pit stop. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Off to a bad start. Oh, there we go. And there's like a little collar here. You just, boom, we're done. Not quite as fast as Red Bull. Wow, dude, so it knows, since I switched wheels, it knows to let this rotate, I think it's like 540 degrees. Like normally with the F1 wheel, you can only go like full lock 180 and then 180 the other way. This lets you rotate a lot further like a regular car. That is so cool. Yeah, this is it, Tommy. You definitely gotta try this out. It's so cool. I don't know what it is, but with like a regular wheel, it feels so much more real. And with the feedback that this thing has, you know, it's pretty toned down right now. And the view that we have inside of the car, so you get like the dash here, and you can actually see, you have a usable odometer as well. This game is just so cool. It really does feel good. Again, I wish the screen curved more. That's the one thing that I do feel like it's not as immersive as it could be, but this monitor is super fast. And the picture quality is just, I mean, it's OLED. What more can I say?
All right, so I love Forza Horizon number 5. It's awesome, but I've only played it on the controller. I've never done it on the wheel. So either this is going to go really well or really bad. Wow, way better than the controller, first of all. I should learn how to shift too.
Just redlining the piss out of that car.
Can I take this home? Wow. The monitor's super clear. It's really nice. Oh, here we go. Oh, hello. Hey, look, now it's like the one in your garage. Oh, I love it. Oh, you get spoiled with how big this monitor is, you really do.
Yo, check this out. So it's a gated shifter from Motza. I haven't hooked this up yet because I need a better stand for it. My current frame doesn't work too well. This is a 7-speed manual clutch gearbox assembly, a little shifter. Oh my God. And then check this out. So we've got the shift knob. Someone just flew past us in the game. And this is really gonna make it. So it's like solid aluminum. It's like heavy, feel that, Tommy. I think you're gonna.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is nice.
That's real, that ain't plastic. And should just thread on top there. Oh yeah. Dude, this is money. I can't even hold it straight because it's so heavy and there's like so much inertia here, so much momentum. Gosh, this is phenomenal. Going all the way to 7th gear is wild, by the way. I don't even think I can. It's like locked out of 7th. Maybe there's a way to enable it in software, but that is just so cool. Maybe you like push down. Oh, that's what it is. So you have to push down and push it into 7th, or push down and push it into reverse, like a normal car. That's just, man, that is something else. And it connects very easily to either your bass or your pedal set. This is definitely an unorthodox place to mount a shifter, and I am absolutely awful at it right now. But, oh my God. Wow. Oh, wrong gear. There we go. Let's see if I can do it from a dead start. Okay, here we go. Should I dump the clutch, Tommy?
Oh yeah.
Okay, here we go. And mind you, I'm like actually actuating the clutch pedal down below. So I'm just like going off road. So there is quite a bit of work involved here. And I'm just making a fool of myself. But Yeah, this is something else. When we get this mounted in the right place, this is gonna be the icing on the cake. Now I wanted to do a sanity check because again, my initial impressions around the value of this monitor were positive. $800 or so for a 49-inch OLED display with 144 hertz refresh rate and all the goodies packed inside, I thought was pretty compelling. But it turns out even competitors of this INNOCN panel are affordable, more affordable than the last time I checked. So for example, the Samsung 49-inch Odyssey OLED G9. This was a panel north of $1,200 only a few months ago. You can find that for $880 as of time of filming. That's pretty difficult to pass up if, again, you're in a market for something as wide as this. And I believe the OLED G9 is more curved than this, which would give it an extra edge over something that might be a bit cheaper like this from INNOCN. So I'm not saying that INNOCN is suddenly not a good value. I think a lot of these now are just becoming more affordable thanks to the proliferation of OLED technology. But there are competitors, well-known competitors, at least here in the States, that you should keep in mind when shopping for something this wide. Yeah, so it'll definitely take a few laps to get this warmed back up. You can see my wheels now synced with this game. F125 is pretty straightforward with most of the stuff. But this wider monitor, in my opinion, works so much better for a game like F1 because it's more important that you see your sides, right? That you see folks coming up along your side, especially if you're racing competitively. I know that you can use like in-game settings, arrows and stuff like that to indicate when people are coming up alongside you, but having that wider field of view in a game like this, I don't think penalizes you or your driving style necessarily. It just adds a bit more info to your driving experience, which I think is important for a game like this. This one is just not curvy enough for me. Again, I'd like to see it more curved. It's the only real gripe I have right now, is it feels a little far away, which I suppose is realistic. The mirrors are gonna feel far away if you're sitting in the cockpit, but having it wrap around you, I think would just really seal the deal for me here. I suppose then it's only fitting to go over the pros and cons of this panel, especially now knowing that other more mainstream displays are in a similar price bracket. So the Odyssey OLED G9 is the one that this is targeting. And if I'm being honest, I think on paper that's a better display. I've experienced those in person. I've used other Odyssey G9 variants, especially on this channel. And so I'm aware with Samsung's build quality, I think it is at least slightly better than what we get here with the INNOCN 49Q1R. These names, by the way, are just getting more and more ridiculous by the second. The INNOCN panel is a bit cheaper. It does still have OLED technology, 144 hertz refresh rate. It comes with built-in speakers, a built-in power adapter, which is cool. It gets VESA mounting support and great color reproduction. Again, 99% of DCI-P3. The Odyssey G9 OLED, however, pretty much has all of those things going for it as well. And it's not much more expensive. It's still in the $800 price range. And so if I had to choose between the two at the same price point, the Odyssey OLED G9 takes the cake. But if I could find this for a bit cheaper, it's on sale now, possibly more on sale when this video airs, then I would definitely give this INNOCN panel a second look. I think it's at least worth considering, and it is nice knowing that we have other competitors in this space that are capable of producing pretty sweet looking displays. So is the 49Q1R worth consideration? Absolutely, it's competition. At the very least, I'm happy that other panels from other brands like this exist. But is it a definite buy? Definitely not, especially knowing what I know now about those other brands. So I'm glad that INNOCN's in the market. I'm glad that they've produced a panel that I think will impress most folks for the price. I just don't think it's for everybody because of, again, just small limitations in the curvature of the panel. That's a personal preference. And again, the price when compared to others that I think have been doing this maybe a bit longer or maybe are a little bit better at it, maybe have a little bit better build quality, just subtle things here and there. All in all though, I think it's an impressive panel and I would have no problem if I was in the market paying $800 for this. Then again, I wouldn't have any problem paying $800 for an Odyssey OLED G9 either. So there's that. I'm gonna have that panel linked below as well as this one if you want to compare and contrast. Thank you so much for watching this one. Be sure to, again, check out those links below. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and maybe sticking around for the next one. My name's Greg. Thanks for learning with me.